So you know, Puffy's sons and my sons have been best friends since they were 6, 7 years old. I didn't make it happen and Puffy didn't make it happen. One night I was at my house and Puffy's son was over about like 9 o'clock and I'm like, cuz, what time you going home? And he like, I'm spending the night. I'm like, did you tell your dad? He like, nah, my mom dropped me off. So Kim, rest in peace, was connecting my kids with Puff kids, and they formed a friendship and a bond. When Justin went to UCLA, my son went to UCLA. When Christian was rapping, my son was rapping. When he was modeling, they was flying over the world together. So they forged a friendship and a brotherhood that me and Puff always had.
So here's where things start getting uncomfortable. 50 Cent just shed light on why Snoop Dogg suddenly went silent the exact moment the Diddy documentary hit Netflix. And what's coming out is way more disturbing than most people expected. Multiple sources are now claiming Snoop may be connected to some of the same situations surrounding Diddy, and that alone has people looking at him differently. This isn't internet noise either. This is coming from people who say they were actually around back then. You didn't click this video for no reason. Something about Snoop disappearing felt off, and trusting that instinct was the right move. Diddy. The Reckoning shot straight to #1 on Netflix in both the US and the UK, and the timing is too perfect to ignore. The second it dropped, Snoop Dogg went completely quiet. No Instagram posts, no tweets, no comments, nothing at all. For someone who's usually everywhere online, that silence stands out in a big way. Here's what this video is breaking down. First, the real reason Snoop vanished when the spotlight turned fully onto Diddy. Second, allegations from people who claim they were present during those years, saying Snoop was involved in the same circles and questionable behavior. Third, signs that have been hiding in plain sight for decades, ignored or brushed off. And finally, claims involving Kim Porter, where insiders say she allegedly caught Snoop Dogg and Diddy together, a story that never truly disappeared. Before we go deeper, it's important to understand how close Snoop and Diddy really were. This wasn't a casual industry connection. This was a long-standing bond that ran deep. And that context changes everything moving forward.
In his doc, the Reckoning, Sean Combs' The Reckoning being not only #1 in the US, but now #1 in the UK. And he posted some flowers, and y'all know 50 love being funny.
When 50 Cent's documentary dropped, it instantly became the biggest thing on Netflix. Everyone was talking about the allegations surrounding Diddy, and the series laid out claims from alleged victims, descriptions of the so-called parties, and a full breakdown of what Diddy is accused of. The whole thing hit heavy, no sugarcoating, and it had social media buzzing nonstop. But here's where it gets weird. While the internet was flooded with reactions, hot takes, and debates, Snoop Dogg stayed completely silent. No posts, no comments, no slick remarks, nothing at all. This is someone who usually speaks on everything going on in hip-hop, so that kind of radio silence didn't sit right with a lot of people.
So you know, Puffy's sons and my sons have been best friends since they were 6, 7 years old. I didn't make it happen and Puffy didn't make it happen. One night I was at my house and Puffy's son was over about like 9 o'clock and I'm like, cuz, what time you going home? And he like, I'm spending the night. I'm like, did you tell your dad? He like, nah, my mom dropped me off. So Kim, rest in peace, was connecting my kids with Puff kids, and they formed a friendship and a bond. When Justin went to UCLA, my son went to UCLA. When Christian was rapping, my son was rapping. When he was modeling, they was flying over the world together. So they forged a friendship and a brotherhood that me and Puff always had.
Now peep this part. Snoop once went on TV and openly talked about how close his family was with Diddy's. He said his sons and Diddy's sons had been best friends since they were 6 years old. He explained how their families were tight, how Kim Porter, Diddy's late ex, used to bring the kids together for play dates, keeping everyone connected. It didn't stop there. When Justin went to UCLA, Snoop's son went there too. When Christian started rapping, Snoop's son followed the same path. These families moved in sync for years, linked on multiple levels, both personal and professional. So here's the real question. When someone you're that close to gets hit with serious allegations and your move is to completely disappear from the public eye, what does that say? An innocent person might speak up, clarify, or at least acknowledge what's happening, right? To be clear, no accusations are being thrown here. This is about patterns, timing, and behavior that don't quite add up. And before we go any further, you need to understand exactly what these allegations involve. We're talking about some heavy allegations here. Claims about so-called freak-off parties where inappropriate behavior allegedly took place, stories of Snoop being seen in compromising situations alongside Diddy, and even darker claims suggesting possible involvement in serious criminal activity. None of this is stated as fact, but these claims exist and they're disturbing enough that people can't ignore them. If this topic is too much, it's okay to step away. But if you want to understand why people are asking questions, keep listening. Now let's talk about Snoop's behavior over the years, because once you notice the patterns, it's hard to look at things the same way again.
Nephew, take that top card.
When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it.
This isn't about one moment, it's about a trail of moments that people are now revisiting with fresh eyes. Remember that old TV clip where Diddy said, "When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it"? Go back and watch Snoop's reaction during that scene. He flashes this awkward little smile, almost like he knows exactly what Diddy is talking about. At the time, nobody thought much of it, but now people are replaying that moment and seeing it differently. It feels less like a joke and more like a shared understanding, and that alone makes people uneasy. And honestly, it gets even stranger.
Happy to have you back, my man.
Man, I ain't went nowhere. I'm closer than you think.
Yeah, man, I had to run it back. I mean, the people rock with you, so, you know, it was only right, man. So I gotta ask you, because over the years, man, there's been a lot of confusion.
So, Snoop didn't go nowhere near the hospital. So when it happened, as you know, for some strange reason, but now we know the real reason, Snoop did not attend the fight with us or the club, the after party at Club 662. And it was so crazy about that, we thought it was strange that he wasn't there. This is the first one he didn't attend. And according to Warren G and everybody else, now we know why he didn't. But to get straight to the point was this. I was at my house in Vegas, and I started calling Snoop, telling him, "Hey, what's up? You know, like it's something wrong with this situation. Pac in the hospital, come holler at him, come check on him." So he drove down, and I was at the house waiting on him. And Tupac's mother was at my house.
Suge Knight is currently serving a life sentence, and because of that, many believe he has nothing left to protect. Recently, Sugi spoke on what happened the night Tupac was shot in Las Vegas, and what he said raised eyebrows. According to Suge, Snoop was supposed to attend the Mike Tyson fight with them that night. Tickets were set, plans were locked in, everything was ready. Then, at the very last minute, Snoop didn't show up. No clear explanation, just gone. Looking back now, people are asking why, and that question isn't going away anytime soon. He didn't go to the fight, he didn't hit the club afterward, nothing at all. And according to people close to the situation, this was the first major event Snoop had ever skipped with them. The timing alone raised eyebrows, because right after that, Tupac gets shot. He's in the hospital fighting for his life. And once again, Snoop doesn't show up. Suge said Snoop was still at his house in Vegas, just laying low. Suge claimed he kept calling Snoop nonstop, saying things like, "Pac's in the hospital, come check on him." Eventually, Snoop did come by the house, but what happened next is what people still talk about. Tupac's mother was there, clearly emotional and upset. And when Snoop walked in, he told them both that Tupac hates me right now and that Pac was mad at him. That alone felt heavy. Then things took a turn. According to Suga, Snoop started crying and began throwing up, like actually getting sick. A lot of people say that reaction didn't look normal at all. To them, it looked like fear, shock, or someone overwhelmed by guilt. Again, not accusations, just reactions that people still question today. And here's where it gets even stranger. Warren G, who's family to Snoop, later confirmed that Snoop was at his house the night of the shooting. But what really stood out was this detail. Snoop allegedly had a walkie-talkie with him. These weren't regular walkie-talkies either. Suge explained they were special security radios that worked across long distances, usually used by security teams at major events. So people are left wondering, why would Snoop have one of those at Warren G's house, watching the fight on TV? And why do some claim he could hear what was happening in Vegas in real time, including the chaos that followed? Multiple witnesses claim they heard someone on the radio say, "Got him," right after Tupac was shot. I'm not stating facts here, just laying out what's been said over the years, and you can decide for yourself if that sounds normal or not.
And Death Row, y'all don't love us. Y'all don't love us.
All on the record, dancing, come to Death Row.
But I was like, damn, we on the same record label. I know these people are really thinking like we are like
Coast, West Coast. We got beef with the people we got beef with. But we could go anywhere in the country because we are America's most wanted.
When people start connecting these dots, the story stops feeling random and starts feeling way too coordinated. And it's not just Suge saying this. Fans have gone back and rewatched old interviews from the 1990s, slowing them down, studying body language, and picking up on details that were brushed off at the time. Whenever Snoop is around Tupac, there's visible tension. He looks uncomfortable, nervous, and during the East Coast versus West Coast era, people noticed he stayed closer to Diddy's circle than to Death Row. Back then, some fans were already saying Snoop turned his back on Tupac, but most people didn't want to hear it. Snoop's image was untouchable. Cool, calm, laid back, everybody's favorite. But now, looking back, a lot of folks feel the signs were right there the whole time. It just took years for people to be willing to look again. Now this is where things take a darker turn, so stay focused.
Put it up a little bit more. Let me see how that. Oh yeah, dang.
You know what I'm saying? We don't hold our man hand. We shake it and get it back in our pocket. Right. You know what I'm saying? They got Diddy and Neo, and if you heard Neo's wife call him Little Diddy, that he like freak off, get high and get freak off. They all baby oil you up.
Oh man, what the hell is that?
You know what I'm saying?
Not him and the son. That's his son, right?
Yeah.
A man named Courtney Burgess recently stepped forward. He's a longtime music industry figure with over 35 years in the game, and he claims he's in possession of Kim Porter's real memoir, not the version that was released publicly and disputed by her family, but what he says is the original, backed with documentation. According to Courtney, Kim Porter allegedly recorded everything. Photos, notes, details, all of it, because she believes she was surrounded by dangerous people. Before her passing in 2018, he claims she gave this material to someone she trusted. In that memoir, Courtney says there are images of Snoop and Diddy together that raise serious questions. He describes moments that appear overly familiar and inappropriate, including prolonged physical contact that he says cross normal boundaries. His words, not mine, but those claims alone have people rethinking a lot of history. During the interview, the host allegedly showed redacted photos on screen, and even though faces were blurred out, the body language raised serious questions. Courtney pointed out that men usually shake hands and keep it moving, saying plainly, "We don't hold our man's hand." And according to him, what's shown in those images looks nothing like a normal interaction. Courtney also claimed there were similar photos involving Diddy and other male celebrities, including names like Neo and Andre Harrell, all allegedly documented by Kim Porter before her passing. He says she kept detailed records because she feared what might happen if the truth ever came out. Hearing that, a lot of people brushed it off at first, thinking it sounded like industry gossip or exaggerated stories. But then things shifted fast. A federal investigation added new weight to some of these claims. Attorney Ariel Mitchell, who represents multiple alleged victims in the Diddy case, went on national television and dropped a statement that stunned viewers. She said someone contacted her attempting to sell a video allegedly connected to one of these so-called freak-off situations. Here's where it gets even more unsettling. Mitchell said the tape involved Diddy and another celebrity who, according to her, is even more high profile and more famous than Diddy himself. She confirmed she had seen still images from the video and said the second person's face was clearly visible. The attorney also stated the video was filmed at Diddy's Atlanta home and appeared to show the other person unaware they were being recorded. She emphasized it didn't look like the individual was actively participating in the recording itself, suggesting it may have been done secretly. She also confirmed the footage was graphic in nature. Legally, she could not name the other celebrity. However, online chatter and unnamed sources began circulating one name repeatedly. No proof, no confirmation, just timing, rumors, and unanswered questions that made people stop and think hard about what might come next. Kim Porter passed away suddenly in 2018 from pneumonia. She was only 47 years old and by most accounts, healthy. That alone raised questions, especially since people now claim she had damaging information connected to Diddy and others close to him. To a lot of observers, the timing feels unsettling, and that's why people keep revisiting her story instead of letting it fade away. Now let's shift to what people who were actually around are saying, because these aren't random comments from the internet. These are accounts from individuals who work closely in those circles. Gene Deal, who served as Diddy's personal bodyguard for years, has spoken publicly about what he claims he witnessed. He described Diddy as being involved in extremely dark environments, using strong language to explain the energy and atmosphere at certain gatherings. Gene talked about parties with controlled temperatures, specific music meant to set a mood, and what he described as ritual-like behavior. He even recalled seeing a spiritual figure perform actions over Diddy's head and described an incident involving a white dove that deeply disturbed him. What's catching attention now is that multiple people claim Snoop was present at events like these, not just stopping by briefly, but allegedly being around during moments that felt strange and unsettling. According to these claims, he wasn't just a casual guest, but someone who appeared comfortable in those environments. Again, these are allegations, not proven facts, but the consistency in the stories is what has people talking. It gets even heavier when you look at voices that were ignored for years. A woman named Allie Carter has spoken publicly since around 2020 about abuse she says she survived as a minor. She has accused powerful figures in the music industry of wrongdoing, including Diddy and Snoop Dogg. At the time, her claims were widely dismissed and she faced heavy online backlash. Now, with everything resurfacing, some people are revisiting what she said. Ali has claimed that Snoop held significant influence in those circles and that allegations involving him were ignored when first raised. These are serious claims that remain unproven, but the fact they're being re-examined is part of why this story refuses to go away. People still cheered for him at the Super Bowl, still bought his products, still treated him like a legend. Allie Carter raised a sharp question that made a lot of people uncomfortable. She pointed out how figures like Dr. Seuss and Aunt Jemima were erased from culture, yet someone facing serious accusations still gets celebrated. To her, that double standard doesn't add up, and honestly, it made people stop and think. She asked why society picks and chooses who gets canceled based on popularity and image. If someone is famous enough, loved enough, do the rules suddenly change? That question keeps coming back up, especially now. Allie also spoke on the connection between Snoop, Diddy, and Tupac. She said they were once close, but strongly implied that Snoop and Diddy were moving together while Tupac was being pushed out. She described Diddy as untouchable, saying nobody messes with him for a reason, and even suggested Kanye tried to expose things before suddenly going quiet, which raised eyebrows. Now, about proof. Federal investigators reportedly seized computers, hard drives, and flash drives from Diddy's properties, and multiple sources claim Snoop's name appears in sealed testimony. And once people started revisiting old interviews, many began pointing out a long pattern of inconsistencies in Snoop's stories, especially when it comes to Tupac. There's a major issue with one of Snoop's Tupac stories. Snoop once claimed Tupac got in Nas's face during a tense East Coast versus West Coast moment, painting it like a serious confrontation. But Nas later shut that story down himself, saying flat out that Snoop wasn't even there. Members of the Outlaws, who were actually with Tupac, backed that up too. So why tell a story about an event you didn't attend? That's the question fans keep asking. Critics say Snoop inserts himself into Tupac's history to protect his street image. He needs people to believe he stayed loyal, because if it ever became widely accepted that he sided with Diddy or betrayed Tupac, it would wreck his legacy. People have also noticed how often Snoop brings up Tupac in interviews, sometimes getting emotional, sometimes using Pac's name to boost his own credibility. Looking back, many feel it wasn't random, it was calculated. Then there's something Suge Knight talked about called the boiled egg test. Details are intentionally left out because of how disturbing the claims are, but Suge alleged it was a twisted industry ritual. According to him, Snoop passed it, and that's when his career skyrocketed. What makes people uneasy is Snoop's strange obsession with boiled eggs, something he jokes about and posts constantly, which fans now see in a very different light. Some people believe those strange habits are signals, a quiet way of showing he's part of an inner circle and past whatever test exists. It sounds wild at first, but when you line up all the details, the timing starts looking less random. Now look at how Snoop's image suddenly shifted. Right as the Diddy allegations started heating up, Snoop was named an honorary U.S. coach for the Winter Olympics. Perfect timing. That came with glowing headlines, feel-good press, and a clean image boost when controversy was circling. Soon after, he was everywhere. Commercials, NFL coverage, family-friendly TV shows, all wholesome and safe. To critics, it looked like reputation armor being built in real time. Gene Deal, another former Diddy bodyguard, recently explained why he wasn't featured in 50 Cent's documentary. He said payment issues were part of it, but more importantly, major details were left out. According to Gene, Snoop's name kept coming up in conversations about deeper involvement. Gene also referenced the 1991 City College tragedy, saying more people knew more than what's been publicly shared. He claims federal investigators have been gathering evidence for years, and that sealed testimony names multiple celebrities. And when two people who don't even like each other tell similar stories about the same person, that's when people really start paying attention. Industry insiders say there's coded language used to talk about this stuff without saying it outright. Phrases like sitting in the director's chair or being on the director's lap are alleged to hint at compromising situations that lead to career boosts. According to multiple witnesses, Snoop's rise happened right after moments like these, going from a regular rapper to suddenly being everywhere, landing massive deals and gaining protection from the biggest names in the business. People say that kind of protection doesn't come for free. You don't become untouchable unless you're connected to something bigger. And that's what these sources are claiming, that Snoop wasn't just caught up in the system, but allegedly became part of it. So why did Snoop really go silent when 50 Cent's documentary dropped? Here's what's being reported. Federal investigators seized video evidence from Diddy's properties. A lawyer confirmed tapes exist involving higher-profile celebrities. Multiple sources claim Snoop's name appears in sealed testimony. Kim Porter allegedly documented his connection to Diddy before her death. And through all of this, Snoop's response has been silence. No statements, no denials, no lawsuits. For someone who usually speaks on everything, that silence is what people find the loudest of all. He usually weighs in on every hip-hop moment, every little controversy. But the second someone from his inner circle gets exposed for serious allegations, he suddenly goes quiet. That doesn't look like loyalty, it looks like self-preservation. Here's the part that has people uneasy. Multiple sources say this is only the beginning. Federal investigators are reportedly building cases tied to several celebrities, and Snoop's name is said to appear in sealed testimony that hasn't gone public yet. People believe 50 Cent knows more than he's saying, which is why he made the documentary and dropped those cryptic hints for years. That could explain why Snoop went dark, because he knows what might be coming. I know this is heavy, but these conversations matter. We can't keep giving passes just because someone's music shaped our childhood. If these allegations hold weight, then fans have to rethink the image that's been sold for decades. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Snoop is hiding something, or do you believe his name could show up in future indictments? And if all of this turns out to be true, how should fans respond after supporting him for so many years? Drop your real, unfiltered thoughts in the comments. I read every single comment, no joke, and I really want to know how this looks from your perspective. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking with me through this heavy breakdown. These stories aren't easy to talk about, but they matter. Victims deserve to be heard, and powerful people shouldn't get a free pass just because they're famous. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications right now. This story is far from finished. New details are coming out daily. More witnesses are stepping forward, and the federal investigation is still active. What we're watching could turn into one of the biggest scandals hip-hop has ever seen. Share this video with someone who needs to see it, keep the conversation going, and I'll catch you in the next one.